Swept Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the Packers play host to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in blizzard conditions that bring back memories of the Ice Bowl and other winter classics in Green Bay. The freezing weather is so fierce that the players waited in the tunnels until just the last minute to come out and begin practicing. And still live, you are now looking at perfect weather conditions. The Superdome in New Orleans, where it's the Saints against the Los Angeles Rams, who enjoy a two-game lead in the NFC East and are close to clinching a playoff berth. In this one, there is a new face on the sidelines as Wade Phillips, Bun's son, makes his debut as head coach of the Saints.
Later today, the Washington Redskins battle the San Francisco 49ers in a matchup between two teams that have represented the NFC in the last 4 Super Bowls. I'll be reporting live throughout today from RFK Stadium, and I'll also have a behind-the-scenes story on the life of a referee in the National Football League.
Last week, we told you who the 5 playoff teams from the NFC are going to be. And today, we'll give you the 5 playoff teams from the other conference.
6 Volkswagens. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen. Seiko and your authorized Seiko dealer. Man invented time, Seiko perfected it. And by Xerox antifreeze and coolant. Don't face winter without it. And now, here's Brent Musburger.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the NFL Today. And, Jimmy, we've got some illustrious company with us today. The great former running back, James Brown of the Cleveland Browns, and Dick Vermeil. What a pleasure it is not to say, hey, Dick, are you going to become the next football coach at Notre Dame?
They never talk to me, and you know that's the truth.
All right.
His wife said, over my dead body.
Speaking of Notre Dame, I want to involve all 3 of you in what has become a controversy regarding yesterday's rout by Miami over the Irish. Did Jimmy Johnson and the Hurricanes run up the score? This is in the 4th quarter, 44-7, 6 minutes to go. Second-string quarterback zips one to Andre Brown, and the Canes have got another one against Jerry Faust. Now it's 51-7. Here comes the punt rush. It is blocked, recovered by Bill Hawkins for a touchdown. Interestingly enough, only 10 Miami players were on the field when that occurred. I guess that shows you how bad they played against Coach Johnson yesterday. But Jimmy Brown, what about it? Did he unnecessarily run up the score yesterday on Faust and the Irish?
My attitude, Brent, is don't regulate my intensity, especially if I'm on the second team. In other words, I think the only time a football player should relax is when the season is over, period.
Dick Vermeil, you were a coach. What about that situation?
I agree with Jim. If you have your second unit in there and they're playing, they've got to play like winners, and they did this. Plus, the other thing you can't evaluate is how down are the players being beaten badly. Now, mentally, are they just giving up at that time? You know,
You guys forget one thing. This coach says, I beat Oklahoma, and yet they got me behind him. I'll show them how good I am today.
Well, he did that. I never felt so sorry for a coach in my life as I did for Faust with time running out down in the Orange Bowl. But let's turn our attention to this afternoon. Irv Cross is now live in RFK Stadium. Irv, what's the weather down there for the Washington-San Francisco game?
Brent, right now is 46 degrees and misty. You know, the field's in great shape. It's been covered all week long, so it won't be a factor as far as weather is concerned. But, you know, the big story in Washington, though, is whether or not this Redskin team is healthy. On Friday, a story was released that Art Monk, their great wide receiver, wouldn't play because he had the flu. He didn't practice Friday. He didn't practice Saturday. But their trainer, Bubba Tyrer, said it was only a 24-hour thing. So he will play today. How much and how effective he'll be, we don't know. The good news for the Redskins, however, though, is that their all-pro tackle, Joe Jacoby, will be back in the lineup after being out for a few weeks with a knee injury. Now, the big guy is going to have a lot of pressure on him today because he's facing a great defensive line in the San Francisco 49ers. Pass protection is critical for the Redskins, as everybody knows, for every football team. And last week against Pittsburgh, he did a pretty good job protecting young Schrader. You can see here at the lower end of your screen, number 57, Mike Merriweather, coming in on a blitz, is going to be picked up by Griffin. The defensive end moves inside over the center, comes up, and is picked up by the center, Jeff Bostic. Now watch this play as it develops, as the offensive line seals everything off here. There's Griffin's block, giving Schrader the time he needs to get the ball away. It's a touchdown pass to Clinton Didier. Great execution by the Redskins. But they're going to be under a lot of pressure today, Brent, because they're going to be facing 2 great defensive linemen. Joe Jacoby at left tackle will be facing Dwayne Board, who's by far, I think, the best defensive lineman the 49ers have on first and second down situations. On third and long situations, Fred Dean will come in off the bench, who's a great pass rusher, a pass rusher par excellence. Everybody talks about the quarterbacking. Everybody talks about pass protection. But I'll tell you, today, the pressure is going to be on Joe Jacoby. Brent?
All right, Irv. And, of course, the Redskins need a victory today to remain one game off the pace in the NFC East. Now, in the meantime, if the Giants get past Cleveland, they will move back into a first-place tie with Dallas in that hot race. Now, when the Giants celebrated Thanksgiving 3 days ago, most of the players kept at least one eye fixed on the Cowboys game against St. Louis. A lot of the Giants assembled here at the home of defensive end George Martin. Now, being tied for first place this late in the year is a rarity for the Giants. Sharing Thanksgiving dinner at the Martin household is not, however. It's become a tradition for Lawrence Taylor and friends.
Every year we have the guys over, particularly those that don't have family in the area, and it's just been mushrooming over the years to what you see now.
Although the game they watched that day featured the Cowboys and St. Louis Cardinals, there was no doubt as to who the Giants were rooting for, the Cardinals.
What team do you want to win?
Giants.
All right. Oh, he just grew up the right way. I won't raise my son to grow up to be Cowboys.
All right, we're going to come back. We'll be talking to Jimmy Brown and also Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears, and we'll have that in just a moment.
At Seiko, great technology inspires great design. Steel rods and gleaming hinges for a supple bracelet watch. Gold tone on gray tone for the definitive strap watch. A second hand on her elegant dress watch. Water resistant too, very today. One diamond and a rich two-tone setting, very tonight. Man invented time. Seiko perfected it.
Boston, you have 2 more minutes for your choice.
We still need a linebacker. What does the computer say?
It says check the master file back at the office.
Office?
The office.
Atlanta, stand by.
Okay, we need a linebacker.
If your business's future depends on information and records, a Hayes modem would help it run smarter.
Computer says Honnesvega, unless Boston gets...
Boston, what's the delay?
Office, Commissioner.
Boston selects Ortega Orphis.
Hey.
A real sleeper.
Hey, no!
Say yes to the future with Hayes.
I bought the Volkswagen Golf for its German-engineered handling and performance.
That's funny. I bought the Golf for its durability.
I don't believe this. We bought the Golf for its space.
Are they crazy? We bought the Golf for its price.
Golf. It's not a car. It's a Volkswagen.
I bought a Golf and I'm not even in the commercial.
A performance story from Phillips 66. Subject, the environment. The fragile, the beautiful, the irreplaceable. How do we help ensure they'll remain part of our environment? Example, this water treatment system made with a Phillips plastic that helps keep our rivers clean, clear, and alive. Phillips Petroleum. You'll find performance in everything we do.
Perhaps the worst blizzard in Green Bay in the last 25 years. You can see they are sweeping off the field now, trying to give the Packers and the Buccaneers just a little room in which to rehearse prior to the game. And, of course, there are the fans in Lambeau Field huddling in against the cold. They're familiar with that. Meanwhile, at the other end of the spectrum, the unbeaten Bears, they got a big one down in red-hot Miami tomorrow night, and they're the talk of the football world this season. And a short time ago, I talked to Walter Payton in Chicago, and I asked Walter how he feels now that he shares the media attention with some of the younger Bear stars.
Probably made it a lot easier for me, because now you don't have the media blitzing you and asking you the same old questions over and over about how do you do it for so long. Now they got a lot of more personalities to deal with, and it's fun to see them try to tame the refrigerator or deal with Jim McMahon or either Steve McMichaels.
Now, the refrigerator, how do you look at him? Is he a legitimate force in the backfield, or has he become kind of the clown prince of the Chicago Bears as we watch him score?
Well, we wouldn't refer to him as the clown prince. He's an added factor to our offense. We get down to the goal line, and then what they do is defenses start to shift. So if they shift to his side, obviously we go the other way. If they don't shift to his side, we give him the ball, and it makes the defense wonder, how are we going to stop a guy of this size? Because as you've seen, he can not only run the ball in, but he can dive over the top, if you call that going over the top.
Can you go unbeaten?
At this point, going undefeated, well, we're just thinking about winning this one, and we feel that we can win this one. The games are ahead of us. We have to take them as they come.
10 years from now, do you want us to be saying on television that Walter Payton was the greatest running back of all time?
I leave that up for the fans because they appreciate it, and they are the ones who determine, because it depends on what one individual thinks. If someone thinks that I am, then that's good. I appreciate that. If they think someone else is, you know, each opinion varies from day to day, because who knows, within the next 2 years, somebody else might come out. They might be talking about Bo Jackson or this guy from Michigan. Nobody knows.
Well, Jimmy Brown, what's your assessment of Walter Payton and his skills?
That's a great question, Brent. You know, it's been about 20 years, I think. You and the Greek have been calling me up, and I'm so happy and I'm very flattered. I think the last time was the Earl Campbell situation when the Greek said he was the greatest of all times, and I loved Earl, and I thought he was fantastic. Walter is tremendous. I love him. I love his style. He's tough. He's a gentleman. He played with losers. He's playing with a winner. He has all the tools. At least he's the greatest of his time.
In other words, you think that it's unfair to compare different generations of athletes. You think that in your time, you were the standout, there's no doubt about it, but it's impossible to compare you against who Walter Payton is going against now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think it's a disservice to guys like O.J. and Gale Sears. You know, Walter might even have a question about the Bears because most of the running backs use Sears as their model. So, and then Dickerson is the greatest, you know, in the league right now, so it gets complicated. We all have attributes, and I think we should take it out of the hands of the writers and even you, Brent, and leave it up to the players. We don't have to be the best of all time.
You know, I always defended you until now. I mean, I think that Walter Payton has passed over the barrier because the one thing you had great durability, and I think he now has equaled you in that category.
Well, there's probably no doubt about it. The man is durable. He only missed one game. I didn't miss any. I didn't miss a practice. But how do you compare that, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
But if you want to do one thing, Brent, I'm not playing today, but you still have me here. So maybe it isn't quite clear yet.
All right, and we will continue with the NFL Today on CBS in just a moment. Big fella, you got something there.
I'm going to give you a choice. A fabulous dinner with me or $1 million. Of course, this isn't just my generosity. It's part of Canada Dry's $1 million sweepstakes. I adore Canada Dry ginger ale. It's deliciously less sweet. And who wants to be sweet anyway? So have a Canada Dry ginger ale while you're mulling over this momentous decision. Me or $1 million.
For details, see the Canada Dry Joan Collins sweepstakes display in supermarkets.
Most people know you can only buy a Curtis Mathis at a Curtis Mathis Home Entertainment Center. They know delivery and installation are included, and there's a 4-year limited warranty on every product. But what people don't know is just how long a Curtis Mathis really lasts.
Oh, well, time to get another Curtis Mathis. Yep.
For products that last year after year after year, this year, make it a Curtis Mathis Christmas.
American-made fashion, it matters to me. Made in the USA.
The fact is, it really matters to me.
Now everything that says American-made style and quality says it proudly.
Made in the USA. Ask for the Made in the USA label because it does matter to all of us.
You better believe it matters to me.
Made in the USA.
Greek, the Browns come in tied with Pittsburgh. Giants need a win to stay up with Dallas. But the first question is, who's going to quarterback Cleveland in this game?
Well, Cleveland has to win to stay up with the Steelers. Kozar took the snap all week, Brent. But the coach last night told a friend of mine that if Danielson can throw the ball 30 yards today before game time, he will start.
This is a reliable friend?
Oh, yeah, he had dinner with him.
Okay.
But Cleveland will shut down the Giant run. The Giants will shut down the Cleveland run. So that leaves Sims to Adams to Galbraith. I like the Giant quarterback just a little bit more today.
And by 4 points, 20-16. Now, San Francisco.
You've been talking about points a lot more lately. I wish you wouldn't do that.
San Francisco comes into Washington to play the Redskins. Now, you know what I think about the Redskins at home. I think they're lethal on that field.
Yeah, do you remember when Washington was 11-point favorite over them in that playoff game?
Now who's talking about points?
Yeah, okay. Anyway, the 49ers will attack the right corner. And Washington will attack San Francisco's left corner. But you know what? Monk has been sick all week. I think that Clark, Rice, and Solomon are a little bit too much for Washington, Brent. Although the kids like playing with Schrader, by the way. I'm talking about the Washington Redskins. They go all out for this guy. And their special teams have been super. I like the 49ers.
Oh, do you ever? 24-17. Now, Monday night.
They're going to win it.
Jimmy, everybody's talking about this game in the Orange Bowl. The Dolphins and the Bears. Can the Bears stay unbeaten? What do you think about this?
I'll tell you one thing. It's only 2-1 that the Bears don't go unbeaten now. I mean, every game makes it closer and closer. This is a game that everybody's talking about defense and everything, you know. Now, the Miami's vulnerable to a run, so Peyton will have a big day. But you know what? The Bears are vulnerable. Remember that thing that you used to say, downtown to Charlie Brown?
Right.
Well, this one is going to be to Duper downtown, and Duper will make at least 2. This is going to be a real high-scoring game.
And you like in the final analysis?
Well, just the Bears by a touch.
Right. Now, let's take a look and see if you've got any gifts today. Any underdogs that you like? There's one.
Yeah.
Denver to upset Pittsburgh, but you like the next 3 big. Philadelphia, New England, and, of course, the Raiders. Now, the best of the rest, well, the Rams, Green Bay, and Cincinnati, and a couple other games on the schedule this afternoon. San Diego over Buffalo and Seattle to win. And Jimmy, you promised me that this week you'd give me the teams that are going to be in the AFC playoffs.
Could we do it next week?
No, now.
But Pittsburgh and Cleveland are playing today. I'll tell you one thing, you've got to give it to Pittsburgh in the Central Division only because of today's game. Because Pittsburgh is favored over Denver and Cleveland is an underdog to the Giants. But there are 5 teams that can finish with 11-5. Pittsburgh, the Jets, Miami, Denver, New England, and one other team, the Raiders.
Yeah,
and the Raiders will definitely be a...
Thank you very much. And we will continue with the NFL Today on CBS in just a moment. I can't...
To some, this is boring. To others, it's exciting. To some, this is frightening. To others, it's fun. To some, this is tiring. To others, it's challenging. To some, owning a German road car that can perform like this is an unattainable dream. To others, it's a Volkswagen Jetta. Jetta. It's not a car. It's a Volkswagen.
I'm Dan Marino, and at Christmas time, I take care of the hands that take care of me. I pass isotoner gloves to the hands that catch my passes, and I hand off these custom-fit isotoners to the hands that carry the ball. And of course, I never forget to take care of my blockers, because how can I throw a pass when I'm laying on my back? This Christmas, give isotoner gloves by Aris, and take care of the hands that take care of you.
A tradition of holiday values continues with the Christmas Gifts and Toys catalog from True Value hardware stores. You'll find this Skil cordless screwdriver for just $19.99, including a charging stand. Or give the versatile Master Mechanic 2-piece locking plier set only $11.99. For a home hobbyist, choose the Black & Decker 2-speed jigsaw, just $24.99. Or this Weller soldering iron kit for only $7.99 from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
All right, the late word from the Meadowlands is that Gary Danielson could not throw the ball 30 yards. Bernie Kosar will be their starting quarterback, and let's go live to Irv at RFK Stadium. Irv?
Brent, you know, the last time the 49ers played here in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago, 2 controversial penalties late in the game may have cost San Francisco a trip to another Super Bowl. At least that's what the 49ers and their fans believe. The uproar that day was a reminder of the pressure that comes with the job of officiating in the National Football League. And last week, we took a close-up look at the day-to-day life of a veteran referee.
Morning, Rita.
Good morning, Mr.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Hi.
Richard Morris Jorgensen works 2 full-time jobs.
Morning, Ida.
Good morning,
Hi, Colleen.
When he wears pinstripes, he's president of the Commercial Bank of Champaign, Illinois. But when he puts on zebra stripes, he's an NFL referee.
3 fouls on the defense. Personal foul, defense, accepted. Holding, defense, decline. Offsides, defense, decline. Half the distance, first down.
Holding against offense 63.
Right.
Accepted.
For NFL referees, the game goes on long after the final gun.
3 fouls. Oh, is that the 3 coming at once?
Right.
Okay, John, you go first. That's a holding. Is that yours?
Okay, ICT, legal contact.
Illegal contact, and it's at 8:30. And against Detroit's number?
I didn't get a number.
Oh, boy. No number. And which one did they accept?
Every recorded call is discussed, then transcribed to Jorgensen's official game report for the league office. There, Jorgensen's report provides a framework for the most comprehensive analysis in sports.
I don't think any professional sport trains and or evaluates their men anywhere near the way the people in the National Football League trains its officials.
When I analyze the film, I see if those calls that I made were properly done, were properly called. If they don't call something that should have been called, I bring that to their attention too, so that they're graded on everything that they do.
On the next play, we have 3 fouls. Offside by the defensive linebacker.
The following weekend, evaluations and game films are in Jorgensen's hands, and he and his crew will work late Saturday night, analyzing their previous week's performance.
We come together each week for 20 weeks during the season. We often go to church together. We eat our meals together. During that time, we're usually talking football, preparing for the game. We'll live and die with each other. You depend on each other. Each person has to do his job.
Jorgensen and his crew attend to an assortment of vital pregame chores.
Okay, that one's good.
The game ball.
That one's good.
The stadium lights.
And if it's at all gray or the cloud comes over, let's turn them on.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
TV timeout.
I'll point to the ground. That means I'm acknowledging you, and you can have it at the next opportunity.
The PA system.
Go ahead, Dick. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
By game time, all 3 teams involved in the contest are feeling the pressure.
We certainly do. We're 7 men against the world out there every Sunday afternoon.
Let's have a good one, man. All right, courage, concentration, mature judgment, slow whistle. Have a good time out there. Work hard. Again, here we go.
Dick Jorgensen is the referee of today's game, and he probably like to get through it without anybody knowing they were ever here.
All right, Irv, thank you very much. An official is only as good as his last call, and we will continue with the NFL Today on CBS in just a moment.
Last fall, I did myself a big favor. I winterized with premium Zerex antifreeze. Just a 50-50 mix of Zerex and water. Protects against freeze-ups down to 34 below.
Zerex. Don't face winter without it. From Conoco.
Seiko turns black into brilliance with an alarm in an elegant dress watch. The track bracelet watch, linked with gold tone, ultra thin, ultra rich. Gleaming border lines for the dual display watch. And the sleek, bold look of the first analog quartz chronograph, now in titanium. Man invented time. Seiko perfected it.
Jimmy, the Greek, who's going to be the next coach of the New Orleans Saints?
After the Liberty Bowl, Arnsparger will go to New Orleans.
From LSU. Dick Vermeil, are you interested in that job?
No, I am not.
Dick will be along at halftime. He'll take a look at Joe Montana. On a program note, for those of you in the New York and Philadelphia areas, a reminder that we're going to bring you the San Francisco-Washington game at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Jimmy Brown and Dick Vermeil will be back.
Tonight, Jessica's behind bars and